Okay, welcome back to Profi Plays. This is Profi, and we are picking up again with Cepheus Universal. Uh, so, uh, right now, our crew, Wilbur, Orla, and friends, right, are traveling through the Mucoria sector where they are scouting for uh, the scouts, okay, uh, kind of working on contract as that goes. Right now, they are here in system 401 in the Mucoria subsector. And we have identified a handful of things in the main, like around the main world, oh wait, no, it's not the main world anymore. We already did the main world. Uh, it's other ones. All right. So we have moved in here right to this rock. It's a reasonably size. It's a size 2, so it's not a large planet, but it's not a whole lot smaller than the main world is in the sector. Now, a big difference is that it has no water at all. Its atmosphere is fairly light. It is hot, but it does have some things potentially of interesting interest to us. There are a couple lava plains, and there's a deep impact crater that we can go and try and study or find out if there's anything of interest, right, to us there that could get us some survey points that would allow us then to get paid. All right, so let's go ahead and get moving with this. All right, so first thing we need to do, now that we are here at this planet, we've conducted the survey already, so we do need to figure out what my printout from Zozer's solo stuff. Right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to do okay, we need to start the survey. So we're going to okay, yep. So we're going to take the starship down. It's a small starship. So we're going to go ahead and roll a d6, and that will determine how far we have to travel for us to get to the site in question. One indicates that we are 1 kilometer away, so that's not bad. It's like half mile or so. And so that's it's not too terribly far. We can make it there fairly quickly as far as that goes. Now, I do want to check. Cepheus Universal does have rules related to temperature and the like, so I do want to check. Oh, actually, right here, it immediately jumped out at me in the table of contents, which those who watch my channel know that's kind of unusual. All right, hot. So we lose. Okay, yeah. So you're going to take points of damage based on the day unless you have a sand suit, which we obviously do not. Right. But it's at least okay. It's the upper limits of human habitability. We don't plan to be out here for unending days, right? So after all, we're only 1 kilometer away, right, from good shelter and all of that. Okay, so I think that because we can take breaks, I'm going to say that we can manage this without it actually creating any damage to us that we'd have to worry about in terms of hit points and the like. All right. So, how long is it going to take us to do this survey that we are only 8 kilometer from? Oh, yeah, we're going to the first one. It's the high cliffs of the lava plain. Okay, so two, that means it would take 24 hours, so it's not going to take very long. It's about a day for us to complete this survey. Wonderful. The next thing, okay, trying to keep my stuff straight. Then we also need to figure out what kind of problem we're going to run into. Now, I also know who's going to go. Now, my convention is that it makes sense for everybody to go, if at all possible. I mean, like, we're not going that far away from the ship. I think it makes sense. I think everybody has a survival mask with them. I don't think anybody's got destroyed or anything like that. Right, so Hazel has one, as does Wilbur. How about Sonia? Sonia has a survival mask. William has no equipment at all. So William, I guess, is staying behind. Heidi does have a survival. Okay. So William is going to be staying behind on the ship. So I'm just going to move him down off to the side here. For the other six, this is just my way of remembering kind of who is where. Uh, the other five, that would be a robot, London, as well as the other four human characters, are all going to be exploring these lava plains to see if there's anything worthwhile. Okay. But that does mean that William's skills are not going to be available to us in this survey problem. Put this down a little bit so we can actually see their names. All right. Survey problem is number 32. 32 is a PC is injured at the survey site or falls ill. Well, you know what? These are very high cliffs, so it makes sense, right, that somebody's going to get hurt. So who is it that's going to get hurt? Two. Well, if I just go one, two, Sonia. Oh, that's not great. Okay, so I want to see if there are good rules for fall damage because I think that would make sense as the type of issue they're having. So yeah, falling right here. I've been very lucky in seeing exactly the page that I need. Right, so as they are climbing and all of that to survey this lava plain to see if there's anything not geographically interesting, but anything geologically interesting here. Um, okay, so it's a small size. It's -2. Okay, so you would lose. You'd suffer 1d6 damage per 2 meters fallen. High cliffs suggest to me that it's a lot more than just 2 meters, because 2 meters is like 6 feet, just over 6 feet, between 6 and 7 feet. Um, so high cliffs, what do we think? Like 30 feet, something like that. Convert that to meters, that's a little bit less than 10. So that'd be 5d6 damage. Yeah, she's in trouble. All right, but hey, I mean that's what it is. That's what it is. Okay, but it is going to be at a -2, so I guess that's nice. All right, but I mean we might be in serious trouble because Sonia is the one that is our pilot. So if she dies, we have serious issues, and I don't think this is something where one, I don't think she has armor at all. But even if she did, I don't think armor can protect you from fall damage. It's like unless she's wearing an anti-grav belt or something like that, which she is not. She has a couple of revolvers. That's it. So I guess 5d6 damage it is. I feel like I want to grab some more dice. If I can find where I put them. There they are. Profi's gonna lose something. He's gonna lose something. I was doing really, really well with finding things in my book. All right. 5d6 damage -2. -2 though. That was bad. It's gonna be real bad. All right. And oh goodness. Goodness. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. Right, so we add this up. What do we have? We have 11, that's 20, total of 23 damage being done, but -2, 21 damage being done. So this is not great. Um, all right, so 21 damage being done to Sonia. So I'm going to pull out Sonia's character sheet here, and we'll see how much damage Sonia can take before she's clearly dead. Um, ah, okay. Now I want you to look with me and add these up. Right, so remember the way the system works, you add together your physical stats, and that's how many hit points you have in effect, right? So we've got 6, not 6, so 7 plus 8 plus 7 is 22. How much damage do we take? 23 -2, 21. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and add some slashes here. 0, 1, 0. So that's how many points she has remaining. Right, so they are studying these cliffs. Sonia loses her footing. They don't have a lot of equipment with them, and so she slips and she falls right from the top of the cliff. And it's bad. It's very bad. She takes quite a bit of damage in the fall. So she's not doing very well. Not well at all. But the good news is we do have a medic on hand. That is Heidi, being our medic. She does have 1 point of medical skill. So let's go ahead and see. The first thing we need to do is a little bit of just kind of like the immediate first aid kind of healing. Okay. Yeah, now here's where we're gonna have problems finding where we need to be in this book, isn't it? Yep, of course it is. Of course it is. Because I thought it was somewhere around here. Ah, injury and recovery. That's it, 105. Okay. So here's what happens. A couple things. Uh, so damage inflicted. Target is reduced to endurance 0. Yep. Then injured. Further damage subtracted from strength or dexterity. Character's choice. Stunned for 1 round. Able only to dodge and to cover or parry. Well, I mean, we're not interested in dodging right here. There's nothing to dodge. And there's remarkably little atmosphere, so I suspect we have very few, if any, animals. If strength or dexterity is reduced to 0, the character is unconscious, and any further damage is subtracted from the remaining physical characteristic. All three reduced to 0, then the character is, in fact, dead. All right, so important thing we need to know because endurance is 0 now, another effect happens as well. So roll a d6 here on this table, and we find out her arm is disabled as well, right? So I'm going to say that she broke her arm in addition to what was happening. So one arm insert cannot easily be used to carry items or operate a weapon. Well, I mean, she's also unconscious. All right. Okay, so immediately knocked unconscious and in shock, the character makes an average endurance roll every 10 minutes, and if fails, loses 1 characteristic point. So she is on the edge of death at this point. Okay, the deterioration stops and surgery is carried out. Medical treatment for being this is injured, right? So for characters who are injured, a routine medical roll is required, taking 5 minutes to restore 3 points of endurance. Oh, that's actually not so bad. Oh, seriously wounded though. We're not just injured. Okay, so it requires surgery before any recovery can begin. Surgery requires a 10-minute procedure using a doctor's kit, which I assume. Oh, I'm not going to assume. I want to assume. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay, Heidi does have her doctor's kit. Excellent. And it is a difficult medical roll. Difficult means that I would subtract 2, I believe, from it, if I recall my difficulties correctly. And I'm just going to double check that because I don't want to make things easier on me than it has to be. Um, that is one thing. You sometimes see solo, like a concern that soloists often will have is not, we don't want to make things too easy on ourselves. So we often end up making things too difficult on ourselves. But the reality is this: I am somewhat sadistic about my characters. Like, not that I want them to suffer or anything like that. But it is true. Yeah, difficult. Yeah, so it's at a -2. But it is true that um, I want there to be difficulty, right? Right. It's not if we just sail through, right? Then things aren't that interesting. Right, so I want there to be some challenge involved here. So Sonia very well may die. That is a possibility, and I am willing to accept this. Right. So we do have to perform surgery. So that is something that Heidi is capable of doing. It's a 10-minute procedure. So what that means is this. Okay. Now I'm looking here. Okay, after the surgery, a patient will have a number of characteristic points restored equal to the effect of the surgery roll. Patient will no longer have to roll for deterioration. Points restored are divided as desired among all the damaged physical characteristics. If the roll is failed, the patient loses characteristic points equal to the effect of the failure. Further, half-hour-long attempts can be made to extend the surgery, each one occurring an additional -1 to the task roll. Surgery does not benefit characters that are not seriously wounded. Okay, so very simple. I mean, we are here on this planet on Mercuria 401 Epsilon, and Sonia may die. But Heidi is going to perform a surgery here, and we're going to roll for it. So it's at a -2, but she does get a +1, so it's at a -1. Remember, we need an 8 to succeed. Yeah, let's see what we've got. At -1. Awesome. Okay. Could not have gone better. All right, so it's a total of 11. 11 means the effect is 3. So immediately she gets to regain 3 characteristic points. Okay, so I'm going to do, say, 1 point of strength, right, so that she can actually move again. And then we'll also do 2 points of endurance. Shaky cam. There we go. So Sonia is conscious again as well. Right. And that also means that she doesn't have to worry about it. So once a character is seriously wounded, stabilized after surgery, you can begin to benefit from medical care. Decent medical care restores characteristic points per week, equal to 1 for every 3 points of tech level, plus the endurance character, plus the endurance DM of the character, which is a 0 here. Divide the points as evenly as possible among all of damaged characteristics. Medical care requires a hospital or med bay, and for the patient to undergo full bed rest. Um, I think that suggests we're in trouble. I honestly, she's going to have a hard time because we don't have a med bay. That's the problem here. So let me show you. I'm pretty sure when I designed this ship, it actually doesn't have a medical bay, which means like she can rest, but I think the surgery simply stabilized her. She's not going to have the kind of care that would be necessary to really be able to progress in terms of getting better. Right. So let's see. I have to shuffle my papers around. What kind of equipment do we have available? Here's my ship. We have the bridge. We have this mess and meeting space. We have a few rooms. We have where the computer would be located. Airlocks, fuel, more fuel. There's lots of fuel on this ship. It's not a very high tech. It's not a very high tech engine. And then we have our maneuver drives and our hyperdrives and the power plant. That's it. But we don't actually have medical bay anywhere. So what that tells me is we were able to perform surgery, but she's not going to be able to really truly recover as it is. Okay. Now, the good news is, in terms of survey problems, we needed to succeed on a medic roll for that to be considered successful, and it was. So, that's something, I guess. So I guess we can find out how many survey points we got from this. And then I need to think about what I want to do next, because Sonia's in serious trouble. It'd be because she is barely going to be able to be like limping along as it is. And I'm gonna have to double check about um, natural recovery. Actually, let's do that first. No, okay, okay. Focus, professor. Focus. Okay, let's get our survey points. This was successful. This was not an anomaly or intelligent life, so no DM on this. So we get 3 survey points from this. So survey points 3. That is enough that we could justify leaving this system if we wished. Okay, and that would be go. So we cross off the day for that. Now, I do want to double check what the rules are surrounding natural healing, because I don't think that they would apply in this case, because I think that's natural recovery. Any character who has successfully received first aid and has not been seriously wounded can begin healing naturally. However, characters cannot always afford to stay in one location, wait for an injured comrade to return to full health. Traveling is not conducive to a rapid recovery. Right, man, it just tells us how many characteristic points you regain per day. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to me to say that she's just going to recover naturally, because recovering naturally, it's actually a really fast rate of recovery. Doesn't make sense if it required surgery for her not to die. And like the number of characteristic points you get uh, from medical care. Yeah, I don't think it makes sense to say that she's just going to be able to recover naturally from this, given that we needed surgery to keep her from dying. So I am going to say we have to make a choice, right? And that is, right, are we going to continue on this mission, right, which we could do? We could do that. And if we do continue on the mission, That means Sonia is going to be in really bad shape, right, for the next 3.5 months or so. Right? Because we still have about 3.5 months until they're going to send a rescue party for us. Or we can just call it. We can say, you know what? It's time for us to turn back and put an end to this mission so that Sonya can actually have the chance to recover. Another consideration is that when we look through all of our abilities, she is the pilot. And I mean that very seriously, that like she is the only one I believe that has any piloting skill. When I flip through, like there's overlap on some things, but no, when it comes to piloting, she is the only one that has any pilot skill whatsoever. So if she dies, we are in really, really serious trouble. Another thing that has to happen, which I often forget, is that I want to get a reaction roll as well. Okay, so let's roll for a reaction roll. 6. So 6 would indicate there is some kind of negative reaction here, which I mean, makes perfect sense. And this is a pretty stressful situation for them all. So I'm going to pull out here and find out first, who is it that has the negative reaction? So I've got here, London, I think, is exempt from this. Right. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4. So Hazel is the one, interestingly, that has a negative reaction. What is Hazel's relationship like here? Hazel, to our knowledge, doesn't have any particular relationship with Sonia. Okay. What is her reaction, though? To its panic or anxiety. So something is eating at the character. Rather than withdraw or seek solace, the character displays their anxiety and panic. They can't get much done and may even pose a danger to others if not handled well. What is causing the anxiety? Well, that depends on the situation. All right, so I mean, it seems rather obvious here. So I think maybe there is a discussion here as to whether they're going to continue the mission or whether they're just going to go back, knowing that Sonya's in really rough shape as far as that goes. So I think I'm going to use some of the personality traits and also that role right now from reaction to figure out how they're going to vote. I think that's what they've decided. That the 5 humans on on the ship are going to vote and are going to decide based on that vote whether they're going to continue this mission, try to push forward, or whether they're going to head back because, after all, Sonya's in rough shape. All right, so let's go through one by one, and they will cast their votes. Okay, so I guess I'm going to go ahead and write this down. So we either go home or continue. Okay, so that's how we're dividing. Actually, let's do it. Let's make 2 rows. So home here, and then continue there. All right, and I'm just my pile of character sheets. Let's go through. Sonia, here's the thing: she's injured, but she is optimistic and determined. I think she is going to stupidly say, let's continue." All right, Wilbur, he's a risk taker, uh, but he has a facade of confidence here. You know what? But at the same time, remember though, he left his career because of how stressful things were. Ah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Let's use a D6 decide or die for him. So I'm going to say 4, 5, 6. He says, let's go home. He says, let's go home. He says, no, no, we've had too many people almost die. Because remember, his friend Hazel also almost died as well. So I think he is sensitive to the fact that it's dangerous out here and he doesn't want to keep putting people through this. Then we have Hazel. What do we know about Hazel? Well, she really never was one to set out to explore the galaxy. That was not her goal. Remember, she was seeking her missing friend, Charles, and then just kind of got sidetracked into this. So I don't know that Hazel really feels any drive to continue. I think she wants to go home as well. All right. I think that makes sense. Out William. William is selfish. He's focused on reward. He wants recognition, fame. He wants to make a name for himself. Um, I think for him, it makes the most sense to continue. Now, Heidi, she, what we know about her is that she was wrongly imprisoned. She would love to clear her name. We also know that she has pink hair. That's probably not relevant to this choice, but she's optimistic and determined. Just going to say, let's continue. Now, one thing that I think is interesting, this was not at all the intent, but nonetheless, it's what happened, is this divided between original cast and new cast. I think that's kind of interesting. Like I said, not at all intentional there, but that was the way things went. So they vote. The conclusion is that we are going to continue on this mission. Sonia says, "Yeah, I'm not in good shape, but I'll be fine. We just have to make it 3.5 more months. What else could possibly go wrong?" But I think that they do agree that it may be a good idea for them to leave this particular planet. Remember, the goal is what is generally considered a reasonable goal is for us to try to get at least 10 survey points from a system. At this point, we have gotten 12 from this system, so I think we are going to do that. So I'm going to write down here my 12 survey points. And then we are going to jump right to a new location. Right, so where's the new location we're heading to? At this point, well, kind of my goal was that I wanted to do something of a loop, right, over the course of 6 months. Right now, we are not quite 3 months in because once we hit the 3 month part, we need to start heading back. Right, so we have the ability to jump to parsecs. So we could go to 501, 502. Both of these have water at them and then also have gas giants. So we could refuel there without any problems. We would not want to jump to 601 because that is a dry world with no gas giant. If we jump there, we don't have enough fuel to get back out. Right, so we do need to at least be somewhat mindful of that. We don't have the ability to jump to 701, at least not directly. And then I'm like, if I look in this loop, we're just trying to go this way, and it's 501, 502. So the question is, what are those planets like? 501 and 502, you look here, 501 has no atmosphere. 502 has I think that's exotic atmosphere, so certainly neither of these is breathable. Uh, and that's a problem because we really want to try to stick with breathable places so that at the very least, like a survival mask is sufficient. And I think that for that, we need to have numbers. I believe it's either 2 or 3. I think it's 3 and like 8 or 9. I forget the exact numbers, but we're not in those ranges. So I think it may make sense for us. Okay, so I guess the question is, do we want to try to get all the way out to 701? Is that worthwhile? 701. Yeah, 701 actually has an atmosphere that would be breathable, at least with a survival mask, maybe even without one. So I think we do want to head that direction. So let's just go to 501. 501, it's 406. So I think that that's our next jump. All right. So we make that hop, take a week. All right. Let me double check our procedure here. All right. Return to arrival. So we're entering a new system. Oh, wait. Is that it? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's when we arrive that we need to make the reaction roll after we do the survey. Okay. Well, I'm not going to do the survey right now. For one, I need to print another sheet for the system, but then also because I think this is a pretty good length for an episode. So we're going to stop here. Uh, Thank you for watching, and we'll see what happens, right? Will Sonia actually survive? And if she doesn't, uh, will we make it home? All right. I guess until next time, this is Prof E signing off.